4th pick, so IG has the 1st pick of the 2nd phase, so they could take the jug, but
And they played Juggernaut previous game. It wasn't a bad Juggernaut for Sakata, but
yeah,
obviously dogfights was someone in the spotlight. But how did Juggernaut fit in there? Like,
I mean, he worked well. We saw they picked the first 2 last game. It was almost like the counter pick to the Magnus Jug, did like a deny pick. We've seen that a couple times today, and it's actually worked out relatively. It worked out, and it didn't work out. So yeah, they just banned it.
Yeah,
Afraid of playing against it, even though they probably would have loved the hero. They thought it was very likely that IGV would have just taken it anyways.
Yeah.
So they put a ban on it.
Does leave Ricky in the pool, as you said earlier, Purge. Perhaps that's something. Although for IG Vitality, they have normally dogfights playing that, so that's probably not an option. But IG Vitality was the one to ban it out against EG. Do you feel like it might be an option for them?
It doesn't. Actually, just with Magnus, it's a possibility. I just don't know if we'll see EG play it.
Seems weak versus Ricky, or seems weak versus Centaur. Sorry.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
But maybe Empower makes it worth. I guess against a CM, I think I'd do it. Perhaps, especially if they get a little bit more lockdown, it'd be really good. But I would definitely agree about being weak versus Centaur. It's a bit iffy.
I think what we saw in the last game was Magnus really struggling with initiation. So I would like EG to pick some kind of like force fight hero, whether it's definitely for the 4 position, but also for perhaps like Sumail.
Do you feel like there's a chance Sumail's going to be on the Magnus? Or is this definitely going to be Universe Magnus again?
I think it can go either way. I think it's tough unless IGV 4th picks their mid hero. If EG figures out what that mid hero is and they feel comfortable putting Magnus in that matchup, then they'll go ahead and do it. But the last thing you want to do is put Magnus in the mid lane, give Sumail a matchup he's going to lose.
Yeah.
Not that Sumail loses a lot of mids, but
Magnus is one of those heroes that needs specific matchups to do well.
He does okay in a lot of matchups, but I think it's a lot better to give Sumail a more even matchup and let him outplay his opponent.
All right.
Give him a chance to win his lane.
So we got the Rubik picked up by EG. A little more lockdown with the right amount of farm. Also another way of initiating, if you will.
Gives them good tri-lane opportunities, gives them good ability to kill Centaur in lane, no field against an entirely magic damage lineup right now for IG. So I think it's a good pick. Weaver's going to allow IG to kill Caudle and Rubik in lane, just really low armor heroes. So I think that was a good pick. They're a little bit weak on lockdown. So
A mana leak is nice though.
that's true.
Is it Slark time?
For AG again?
Yeah.
Yes.
Would you not save it to the 5th pick?
No. Well, so like this year, this is a pick that they have to pick their 2 cores in their next 2 picks. But
Yeah.
They have to go 2 in a row. So what you want to do is pick the hero that you might think could get banned. And I personally think that IGV would most likely spend their last ban on a melee kind of carry, because that's what they've been banning so far this game after giving up Magnus.
Okay.
And I like Slark a lot versus all of these heroes.
It's true.
How about they still go for an Alchemist?
It's
still in the pool.
They could.
They could if
yeah,
they dare to.
Do it.
No,
Man
don't
up.
do it. Don't do it. This is not the time.
I don't know if it's the outgame. I like the Slark idea better, definitely. Can knock off a lot of those disables.
Oh,
Hell yeah.
all right.
This
I mean, I did say it, but I didn't
is
really
great.
believe it.
is great.
All right.
Redemption.
Never stop playing Alchemist.
Is it? Okay. Is this a better Alchemist game? We already said previous game when we saw the draft that it was actually going to be a decent Alchemist game, but there's going to be an Earth Spirit again.
Yeah, I mean,
Is there a better backup? Is there a support more free than there was before? Obviously, they don't have Spirit Breaker this time, so there's potentially a babysitter for Sumail.
I think it can work. I mean, if they've got eggs on Caudle and it's daytime, and they've got heals to back him up, and they have more disables, got no field. Once he gets a Manta style, he can stop like most of Earth Spirit, Crystal Maiden annoyances. I think it's okay. One of these days, there's going to be an RP with an unstable concoction.
It's kind of just
like
a practice tournament for Kiev Major anyway.
Yeah,
right?
let's be real. I mean, the top prize is what, 200K? Who gives a shit?
Yeah, 200K.
Pocket change.
You get 10.
Easy.
You get 10 games. You get 10 games in this group stage, and then you get at least 2 on stage.
At least 2. True. Yeah, best of 3.
That's 12 games against top teams.
And even then, Kiev, $1 million, not that much. they're playing for TI right now.
Oh, yeah.
You can tell they're preparing their strats. They're figuring out the
Saving
meta.
their strats.
None of this matters to EG.
They prepared loads of things. So they're like, hey, there's a Bloodseeker.
Just like the Bloodseeker.
It's got to try it out. All right. So what kind of Bloodseeker is this? Is this a safe lane Bloodseeker?
Yeah, RTC Bloodseeker.
This is a Bloodseeker strat right here. We've got Skewer for rupture damage. We've got Blinding Light for rupture damage. I've got Telekinesis for rupture damage. I love watching the strats like
Do you
these.
like it?
Do I like it?
Yeah.
I'm worried about.
I mean, Kevin likes it.
I
that's
like
for
it
sure.
better because I think that it's okay for Alchemist to kind of go farm, and then if they attack the Alchemist, Bloodseeker can show up and fight.
Yeah.
In the last game, Troll Warlord, he couldn't really show up to fight. Like, he definitely needed a couple items, and there was so much magic damage already from the Darkseer, Earth Spirit, and the Warlock that Troll just really didn't have any impact in that game. He just ended up just dying a lot trying to defend his Alch.
Yeah, that happened.
This Bloodseeker can just get like 6, get some ganks, by maybe a BKB or something. Yeah.
I feel like he can do a
Maybe.
lot more in the early game, even if it is just ulting and like throwing out of silence.
Okay.
And the Storm Spirit for Sakata. Or Sakata. One of the two.
Okay. Crystal Maiden will help the Storm Spirit with mana.
Yep.
So that's nice, but we'll see. I don't know. We'll see how much pressure. We'll see what happens. If the same thing happens last game, obviously, EG will probably lose.
Yeah.
But obviously they're gonna. EG has a plan.
They have a plan.
Let's give them the benefit of the doubt, and let's all cheer for EG this game.
Very
I'm gonna go with
unbiased.
IG.
You're gonna go with IG. You think
Yeah,
Alchemist is too much of an Achilles heel?
I don't think he's gonna lane well versus a Storm with a Roamian CM and Earth Spirit. That sounds like it's gonna suck really bad for Alch pre-6.
All right.
And that may end up scaling later. More deaths.
I think Sumail will die once in mid.
Twice.
Once mid. He'll die once mid, and he'll get his Iron Talent, and he'll go,
He'll
to, the
go to the
he'll go to
jungle.
the jungle, and we will see him in 20 minutes.
All right.
We will.
Let's see how good of a game Samil has in the second game. It is over to Toby and Merlini for game 2.
First things first, Toby. How many
Yeah.
times is the Alchemist going to die before he buys Iron Talon and goes to the jungle?
Well, if I believe PPD, it's 1, but I'm going to go with 3.
3?
3. I'm going with 3.
Hmm.
He'll have no other choice.
He might even die. Last game he was
Well,
first item
hang on.
Iron Talon.
Wait.
and
Maybe we do it the other way. How many times does he die in lane before he goes jungle, and how many times does he die inside the jungle? Because IG Vitality had amazing ward vision in game 1 to watch where that Alchemist was moving. So even when you go jungle and you start your farm, it's not guaranteed a safe place. Even if the Bloodseeker can then rock up. But as we saw, like, we actually got to cast a Bloodseeker game early today, which was when OG ran it, and they were running it with a Disruptor combination. It was the worst laning phase of the tournament so far, even though the tournament's only been going 1 day. It was still horrendous. And then all of a sudden you're looking at, oh, wait, that's a Disruptor Glimpse with Rupture. He's doing so much work. They win one good fight. And then the Aghanim Scepter comes over on the Bloodseeker, and then you're running double the Ruptures. It was brutal, to say the least. No-Tal was having a party.
You could potentially get like the Yules into the Silence combo onto the Storm Spirit this game. So let's see what happens with the Alchemist. Last game, Alchemist got ganked at his rune and died, gave up first blood. This game, EG are already looking to change this. Look how many arrows are close to that bottom rune. There's 4 heroes that do not want to let Sumail die. So I think that already it's going out to a better start. But IG Vitality is like, oh, we did this trick last game. We're not going to try it again.
We'll see how it works, man. We'll see how it works. So for now, Paparazzi's got pretty much his safe lane all to himself. It's the Centaur plus dual support off lane trying to cause issues for EG. They did put the Bloodseeker up here, so it is going to be another contest for a bounty rune, but they're going maybe a little bit late into Arteezy. So Rolling Boulder forward, picks up the bounty rune on the way through. So Frostbite into Hoof Stomp, and now they need the damage. They also need the body block to kill off Arteezy. Dogfight should have his Rolling Boulder again sometime. Oh, they got the Frostbite again. So Arteezy will be the one to die to start off the game.
I really like how they switch things up. Last game, you expect a lot of the focus to be on the Alchemist.
Yep.
And they weren't completely prepared for last game. EG were probably like, they're not going to contest this rune. It's like uphill, it's our safe rune. But and then the next game, they're like, well, they expected it on the bottom, except there were 3 heroes top. So IG Vitality constantly getting the better of EG in the early game.
Where was this team this morning when they played up against Newbie? like actually like mind gaming at the very start.
Jack told me that
having-
they choke on land so hard.
Okay,
But now maybe they're over their land jitters.
maybe it was just one game, and this was just one kill in game number 2. But this is the kind of movement we're also expecting from Dogfight. E.g., you were mentioning in game number 1, they weren't really stacking for the Alchemist, but now you've got the Earth Spirit inside the Dire jungle being a big nuisance to EG.
No
and
Ion
Rubik is
Shell,
committing himself as well to try and do these stacks.
Earth Spirit's impact, I think, is going to be much less this game. With no Ion Shell to actually like kill people with, he's going to need a lot more heroes than before. Last game, you could just Ion Shell, you could TP to lane and just do a lot.
I kind of agree in a way, but I kind of also disagree once the Storm Spirit has his level 6 or a little bit of mana to work with. Because then you've got that quick movement into the Dire jungle.
But there's a lot of problems not having the Ion Shell. Firstly, it's much easier for Alchemist to Armlet toggle when there's no Ion Shell in the game. And secondly, there's not enough burst. You need a lot of burst. Like double Ion Shell here is a lot of upfront damage that Alchemist can't regenerate through. If it's if it's slow damage like Magnetize, I would say without Ion Shell, it's not actually that big of a deal for Alchemist. He usually shrugs that off, and why he's considered very strong, because you have to commit a lot of heroes in order to gank him.
So as we look at different things in the arsenal, though, of IG Vitality, like they do have the better rooting this time around, having the Crystal Maiden in there with her big ultimate, so movement will be a real big issue for EG. And then you've also got Weaver. There's going to be a lot of negative armor coming out from Paparazzi. Compared to last time, where he still looked for the Blightstone on the Morphling. Yeah, he had a lot of survivability, but now he also brings a lot of damage to the party.
Weaver doesn't have that great a burst, too. It's not like a Juggernaut with the Omni Sludge. Omni Sludge is great for killing Alchemist, but Weaver, you know, it's you got to wait for the Swarm armor to build up. You chip him away with Shikuchi every 6 seconds, and then you need a nice dodge. And then you Geminate every few seconds as well. So, no, it's not the fastest thing in the world.
Paparazzi was actually trying to deny the clarity as well from the Keeper of the Light. Always a big bonus when you're... Okay, well, goodbye. No ward for you. Always a big bonus if you can avoid that Keeper of the Light harassment in the lane. And that's something which this Keeper of the Light, like I'm not seeing Zai able to achieve. Like
What do you mean? He's
obviously,
low again.
Yeah, obviously the Weaver is low, but it's not like what he had like previously, where you're going up against these trial lanes, you're hitting both supports. Doing this, however, and actually getting a kill on Paparazzi. Now that is a beautiful sight for a Keeper of the Light. Eat my words, I will accept.
That is crazy how far that illuminated. Who's like on the opposite side of the trees.
As long as you can keep him low as well, like Arteezy's Thirst is going to start to help out.
Oh no, raindrops. Completed the stick over raindrops. Yeah, that's life against Keeper.
Wonder how long that support's going to take to come in, though. I'm not even thinking about the mid, I'm just thinking about the bottom lane. Do you even need to with the Weaver? That Centaur's getting a lot of farm. Now Dogfights rolls in, kicks back Sumail. There's not enough movement speed forward, or is there? With the Frost, like, it's slowed down Sumail, and Sakatar can't get close enough to get the last hit in, so Sumail will end up triggering up the Shrine, and now they know IGV. They do not have the damage to kill off Sumail. In fact, it's Arteezy who rotates in. No ultimate available just yet, so buffs himself up, looks for the extra damage. Super wants to slow him down, able to do so with just one quick Crystal Nova. So Arteezy's rotation doesn't really achieve much.
Still, they don't kill Sumail, so 0 deaths and back to the jungle.
So everyone gets to be wrong. And then the Rubik soaks up the mid, but In July's having a fantastic time up on top. 34 for 12 for him. The Storm Spirit's getting really decent levels because he's able to be quite solo in the mid, and is going to find a lot more farm now. The fact that Rubik is just the only one sitting there.
Life's good with Brilliance Aura. Arcane Aura, sorry. Arcane.
You're so classic, Ben.
Brilliance, Arcane, same thing.
You're like Broodbore. You be remastered. Rolling boulder forward, hits the target right on top of Arteezy. Super going to be there as well with a kick. They just chain off their stunts nicely, and Arteezy is very quickly done with their second level up in Double Edge from In July, dealing the final points of damage.
Is enough damage being done in the early game to kind of make EG feel worried? I don't actually think so. I think they're okay with this. Alchemist hasn't died yet.
Is it more about the critical item timings then? Like you look toward the Blink Dagger to come over on the Centaur? That's their Like, they're only
It's-
jumping initiation beside the Storm Spirit burning a lot of mana.
It's always about the jungle invade versus Alchemist. If you don't control the jungle, then Alchemist is going to farm faster than your heroes die generally. And also, they don't have that great of tower hitters. Like, Weaver's alright. Storm is not great at hitting towers. So your towers aren't going to fall as quickly as last game. I think Jug is very good at hitting towers. He has spin, he has good sustain.
Wow.
And he
Okay,
built
Centaur.
Aquila.
In July wants that kill. He'll be picked up and thrown around, but in comes Dogfights. Very quick on the rotation. And they get one more kill, and with the tankiness of that Centaur, he can potentially just creep skip and add more pressure to that tier 1 tower on top lane. Meanwhile, Samal will now return to the mid lane to battle against the Storm Spirit. But he knows there's no kill here. Storm Spirit having his ball lightning available means that EG don't really have a chance against him. And this means now Super and Dogfights can just invade the jungle. And they're looking at Arteezy. With the Observer Ward up, they understand where the Keeper of the Light is. Dogfights, that's a interesting role. And he should be
Zai almost
very,
walked
very
into it.
happy that Arteezy's not 6 yet.
Zai turned around, so that was pretty important for them. No Stampede makes this a very difficult kill. They're going to have to like fight into Keeper right now, which is definitely not ideal. But here comes double Illuminate, or just a single one to clear out the wave.
Well,
and
they can just
no
back out.
push. Well, but they're not getting the tower, though.
No.
They wanted to invade the jungle, get a kill, slow down Alchemist, slow down Bloodseeker. They weren't able to get that. They have the ward down, but they can't actually do anything off it. So this is actually very good for EG. Buying
And
time, slowing down the game.
The Alchemist is actually farming on the other side of the map. Like, he's farming down closer towards the bottom lane, which is where the Weaver is currently having a free time. Kind of expected Weaver to have a lot more net worth in the lane, even though I know Universe as well as Keeper of the Light Eye has been really adding a lot of damage into Paparazzi, so it has not been a simple time for him. Especially when these shockwaves keep connecting.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job of connecting with the shockwaves, though. Even last game, I would say he was doing very well. Almost out of raindrops on Paparazzi.
Only one left. They're going again up on the top lane, so Dire will fortify their structures, but in July, the Radiants scan up in the tree lines. They know no one here is here from EG. So in July, already with the Hood, now looking to build into having that Blink Dagger,
God,
and he's
he's
1400 into it. Yeah. That's going to be a very difficult to kill initiating Centaur. But Arteezy does have that level 6 now, so Rupture becomes an option. And we'll be interested to see how IG Vitality deal with it. Like in our Faceless game that we cast earlier today where OG had it, like there was nothing the Faceless had to deal with it. This time around, I'm wondering like how is this game actually different? Like what can they do against the Rupture?
Well, they don't have Anti-Mage. Anti-Mage just gets destroyed because he relies a lot on his magic resistance and armor to tank up, and his Blink. And Rupture, pure damage to bypass the spell shield, and Blink is not long enough range. So the inherent matchups this game is much worse for the Bloodseeker. The Silence is still good, but you have heroes that can get out of the Silence, and Weaver can time-lapse a lot of damage off, or just stand there and then time-lapse. It's not a big deal. So yeah, I don't think Rupture is as important this game as it was in the other game. Stampede too, if you cast on a Centaur or whatever, a Centaur can just run because he has a ton of strength. So HP is king versus Rupture.
Yeah.
It's more so, I would be much more scared of the Blood Rage this game. I think like Blood Rage on any of the heroes that are going to be right-clicking during the RP is a much bigger deal.
Well, they can catch him up before the RP. That's one way to do it.
Wow, he went
That
armor?
that Invis rune didn't work. Yeah, he went for the +4.
Wow.
Rolling boulder forward and not easy. Well, life is hard for him. He'll Rupture over on the Storm Spirit, but looks like Storm doesn't really care that much.
Going armor on the Alchemist is actually very unusual. Usually you'll see it versus a Slardar +1, but generally you have armor from the Talon and the Armlet, so you're generally pretty okay. Storm does a fair amount of physical damage, but there's a lot of magic. Earth Spirit, Crystal Maiden, Centaur does a lot of magic damage too.
Maybe it's just that survivability he really wants to have. Worried
Yeah.
about what happens once the Weaver starts getting involved.
It slows down your Radiance timing though, because you don't have the damage, and you have a fair amount of attack speed from your ultimate. So it's just not that common to see.
And Paparazzi, does he have something coming on the courier, or is he just like Aquila treads as well as Wand?
Yo, you got owned by Keeper.
Mm.
The life of a safe laner dealing against Keeper.
Well, we're
You
coming down bottom lane to try and kill him off, but he's not the one you really want. And Centaur is in the neighborhood, and they're jumping forward. Universe, Hoofstomp off, but Arteezy's already there. EG, they see it coming now. Universe knows he can't just go straight in for the RP. Paparazzi has to wait this out. He's got 14 one-charges available, and he might just have to trigger them, but so much damage being done. With the Rupture on him, there was no escape to be had. IG Vitality are bringing in support, but EG also have a lot more behind the tower. Rolling Boulder forward. They're looking for the kick back out again, actually going up with the double Hoofstomp and the double edge with the RP! Universe can't create enough space. Arteezy will still go down, but the Illuminate will hit hard. Rubik will fall. Super is on the run. Zai pushing him back with the blinding light. There's no point up in Mana Leak, so no stun to be offered. And Sakatar's just happy just to let it lie the way it all went down.
Rubik made big plays there. He lifted a Centaur. Even I don't think they revealed they didn't know that he had the blink before. I guess probably they expected it because he was having such a good time, but he was still in the right place at the right time. And this was a super important. Yeah, the double combination too. Perfectly timed RP. 2 heroes very, very low, but Crystal Maiden is there to save the day. Oof.
If it wasn't for her, those 2 kills would never have happened.
Yep. Easy. But still, they have the Blink Dagger. Where can they find this Alchemist? Alchemist, he was not involved in that fight. Zai, oof.
In July, blinks the wrong way. Dogfights needs to get a little bit of vision. He'll get it on Zai, but then Zai just quick steps to the side. Samal will start his TP out, so Zai, for all the fancy horse work, it's not going to be enough to survive.
Close.
There's your plus damage. But this time it's on the Centaur.
Yeah, he has CMR. No need for mana regen at all.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's a toss-up, but if you have CM, it's always 35 damage. Any other strange talents? I don't think that many heroes are level 10 yet.
We just have the plus damage on the Storm Spirit who hit 10, and yeah, that's it. Alchemist is the only other one.
Yep.
So
Arteezy's level 6? What happened to him? What?
Well, he did have his supports holding his hand pretty closely up on the top.
He's level 6.
And he was up against, like, a rather successful lane from IGV.
He's level 6?
Yep.
It's 13 minutes in. That's rough.
Has he actually survived in any of the fights and like before the kills have happened?
Not. He's 1-4, but wow. I thought Weaver was struggling a little bit in terms of net worth, but Arteezy is 900 below him.
Oh god, Rubik is actually in a lot of trouble right now inside the tree lines. Paparazzi is initiating on him, and then back behind the tower. Sentry wards have to be placed down, but Crit, of course, is what he loves to have. There goes your blood right, Hoofstomp in. They're going to kill up the Keeper of the Light with the timelines back, but a quick skewer up into a huge RP. Super will hold him there with a Frostbite as well as the Nova. Even with the RP, there was no follow-up. Sakatar with so much damage onto Arteezy with just one hit. Arteezy is limping himself back to base. And IGV, that's a tower. With a double damage rune to boot for the Storm Spirit, they had so much pop damage against EG.
Oof, the Weaver. Very nice time lapse. Get all that Rupture damage off. And Universe even skewered him back in to get maximum damage out of the Rupture, but just still not able to deal any damage. Like, most of their damage is from Keeper now, I would say, in the team fights.
They really want to get that last hit in the tower. Won't be happening, though. Crit able to get the denial off.
Radiance Online.
Okay. So wonderful for that, but at the same time, is IGV really that bothered?
Not really.
Like,
that Bloodseeker's just been useless in all these fights.
He's got 3.5, like not even 3.5k net worth. Like, that's just... When you're in the mid-pack, and you were the safe laner, obviously the off lane kind of got a little bit more out from EG with Universe and Keeper of the Light. Like,
he just can't jungle because that's just what Alchemist does. Alchemist just eats up all the farm on the map. Not that.
But isn't that when Alchemist has to give him something back? Like, he has to give him the Aghanim Scepter.
No. You give him. You give
suppose
back by pushing out lanes later so that he can farm the jungle. That's how you give back. Maybe an Ags leader, but that's I think thinking a little bit too far ahead in the game. You gotta figure out how to get past this mid game.
In July, he's going to be able to tank through Rupture in the future.
Yeah, I think
He's building into the heart as well.
he can just get Blade Mail and just straight run around and just not care. Tank Illuminate, whatever. Or just, he has Hood.
Mm-hmm.
He definitely doesn't need BKB this game. He can just tank through it. Scepter too. Scepter's great versus RP.
And Samel's really trying to turn this into a split push game with the BTs now coming up. Obviously, you get the Manta directly after.
You already have Recall.
Yep. That would be a hell of a way for EG to hold the high ground, and that's probably the hardest thing for IGV. Like Fade Bolt, Illuminate, Bloodright, plus the Radiance Burn from Alchemist with a split push.
Shockwave too.
Yeah, and Shockwave. That's a lot of wave clearance that IGV just cannot go against, but they can keep themselves alive. Like Centaur on the front lines, sure. Weaver's got a lot of survivability thanks to the time-lapse, and Storm Spirit's got the quick initiation. And
I think
you saw their desires. They went for the supports, quick and easy pops.
The Weaver and the Storm aren't good at hitting towers, and it's their wave defense is really good against those two. But I think Centaur's going to be so big that he can actually be the main tower hitter. Once he gets the heart, you hit the tower, you get the half HP, whatever. You just sit back, reset with heart, and just go back in. And return is going to be a big problem at that point. So they don't have a medallion on the Radiant side, and
July's coming over.
they've been really good about predicting EG's Roshans, by the way. This one is happening a little bit slowly.
Stomp. They're going after Universe. Remember, he's the man with the control. He's the man with the RP. Roshan sitting at 1/3 of the life. They go for a quick Bloodright. Double Edge was the only thing Crute was able to steal. That's not what he wanted. He wanted Stampede, and they're going to lose almost everyone here, EG. The Bloodseeker will fall. A double kill for Storm. Zai's hovering around, but now IG know what they want. They want Roshan. EG cannot do anything to really stop them. Illuminate is more of a pain in the butt than anything else. EG have no buybacks available, so they have to do this with just the Alchemist and the Coddle.
Oh no, Storm Spirit with Aegis and Bloodstone completed. That is not good.
Earth Spirit's going to miss his roll, so Zai's able to get away. But
if they had a little bit more damage, I think like a Medallion would have been pretty good too. Medallion plus the Blood Rage onto Roche probably would have been enough.
They also spent a lot of time rotating. Like, they ran through the Radiant jungle before then they eventually said, okay, it's time to go in for Roshan. They were looking for the kill before Roshan. But they didn't find anybody. All of IGV was smoked up looking for a kill on EG on the bot lane.
Oh, buddy. Bloodseeker's forced to build a Halberd. Have we seen a Halberd yet today? I don't think so.
Not in the games we've cast, at least.
Who's Halberd even good against? It's not that great versus their lineup.
Is it meant to trigger something?
I
Like,
think
'cause normally that's what the Halberd's for.
No,
right?
he
Like,
just doesn't want to die. It's a good HP item. You get the strength from the Sage, and then you have the evasion versus the other two heroes. But can't kill anyone.
Yep.
First item Halberd.
Oh, Field backed into a corner. That's probably what happens. Now the tier 2 tower's going to fall on the top, and that corner's getting smaller and smaller for EG. The Weaver's having the time of his life in mid, even though he just got initiated on. Skewered back. The damage, it needs to be enough before he can time-lapse out. Just not enough.
Their lockdown's like non-existent.
Yep.
It's supposed to be pretty good with Magnus, but they have no combo. Usually you'd follow up with an Unstable Concoction. It's already maxed now from Alchemist because he is very high in terms of level, but there's just nothing happening. Kind of like all their... Oh, it's kind of like their other
long
Alchemist
jump from Storm. Looking for the kill over on Zai, but thanks to Glimmercape, Zai's able to stay alive for now. Universe, the blinding light pushed in the Storm Spirit.
Zai's definitely been playing the best of all of EG, I would say, this game. Trying to win them the lanes and create space.
Creep skip isn't a problem. It's a problem, but not while one range creep is able to stay alive and in July can tank the tower.
He will have heart very soon.
Yep, and we're only 20 minutes into the game.
Oh god, how do you kill the Centaur?
I'm not certain, but there's a lot of net worth of the Alchemist, which kind of has to be your answer. You've given him the farm. Now, where's the use from Samael?
Split push out lanes to delay the game even further.
Yep.
Delay of game. Penalty in football. But that's what they need here. It's the only way they can win. Slow down the game, get more farm, and out. Get this Bloodseeker back into the realm of relevancy somehow. get Ags up on the keeper.
Well, right now, Arteezy just doesn't really do much.
He's going to be able to disarm people soon, man.
Yay.
Albert keeps getting buffed. It's the new hip item. It's the new Rod of Atos that is awesome, but no one gets because it's actually terrible. Actually, Atos is pretty good.
It has the root effect now. It's actually quite good. Top lane looks like initiation coming out as a quick jump away from Sakata. He's just locked in with a rupture, and they're trying to do more and more, but the kick from Dogfights and the silence, Keeper of the Light just cannot keep his spray going. Sumail has to break free of the Frostbite with the Manta style, causing issues for Super. But while all this is happening, bottom lane, Weaver never came. He continues to do his push, keeps that casual Blightstoner going again, went for the early BKB, and now is going directly into Diffusal Blade.
Diffusal.
I'm interested to see exactly who that's meant to be against. Or is it just to get rid of the silence?
Can't purge yourself. So definitely not to get rid of the silence.
Yeah, okay.
I think it's just good damage. This is a very common damage item for Weaver. Dezo, not necessarily that important for them. They don't have any other minus armor, and Storm's like half physical, half magical. So Diffuse is just good for chasing down supports. It's, you can purge a Glimmer Cape off. That's actually pretty nice to use it on Keeper, I would say. Keeper's a big deal to kill in teamfights because Weaver does not do well versus Mana Leak. Mana Leak's a big problem, especially when you don't go Lincoln.
Jump in. RP, they'll do as much as they can, but the follow-up silence was there from Dogfights. This will allow Paparazzi to get his BKB off, and Dogfights wants to go in deeper. Finding Arteezy out, Paparazzi has to stay where he is. He got ruptured up, so he's not going to take the damage. Meanwhile, Arteezy just wants to live. He's ticking down, but it's a little bit further down the lane where Sumail is in trouble. Back at the tier 1 towers, pulled back in by the Vortex. But Sumail, can he toggle this up with a Glimmer Cape? He's got the protection. He'll end up surviving. Paparazzi's so low on life, but they don't have the damage to find the kill. Everyone will survive for now. Super will jump Invis in July, goes for a quick Horf Stomp. Didn't follow with the double edge. Remember, he's still insanely tanky. That's a heart. That's 3k HP they have to get through. And there's your first kill of this entire fight. It's taken almost a minute, but it's going to be Arteezy. And now Sakata wants to do even more damage over towards Sumail. They have to keep just pushing mana into him.
It's kind of crazy that Alchemist is like double net worth of the Centaur, but Centaur is kind of fulfilling the same role. It's a hero that's just like in there, unkillable, doing a little bit of damage at a time.
Double the net worth and almost fully 6-slotted and still doing the same? Yep.
Roughly. Sumail was able to survive though, thanks to that Glimmer. That was a very important Glimmer. But yeah, they try to burst down the Weaver and just sit there with BKB. There's no physical damage. Alchemist is mostly magical right now. Even with Empower, you're still not doing that much damage.
They're coming to bottom lane. They were aligned to get a kill on Paparazzi, but again, you need that instant control. Crit will be able to offer that with the telekinesis into the concoction. And that was the sort of thing you were looking for before.
And that was a big kill, too. Because Weaver is not having the best game and just slowing him down. He thinks he can push out very far with that BKB rush, and you still die. It doesn't bode well for your farm. But Rubik now has the Shikuchi, so very good for him to be able to initiate with ganks, especially because he does not have that much farm. No Blink Dagger for him.
Yeah, but he also managed to hit that level 10 mark, which is a nice thing. So plus 60 gold should help just repair the lack of farm on Crit, getting closer towards the Blink Dagger. I think EG are very much aware that they cannot kill off that Centaur in July. Is too much for them. Unless they bring their entire team down here, this ain't going to happen.
So he's going Lotus next. Lotus is very nice to deal with Mana Leak and Blinding Light.
TP's coming forward. There goes your kick. Still able to connect onto Sumail. No Manta dodging out of that one, and Sakata straight in. But the Glimmer Capes again, making it difficult to get the target they're initiating on. Maybe this will be enough in July, forcing out the Stampede running away. He's down low, so Arteezy does have that extra buff, but then the heart kicks in. So goodbye buff. And goodbye BKB for Paparazzi. Didn't find the opening, and Stampede was stolen by Crit.
This is really bad for IG Vitality. They can just go in with the next Alchemist Chemical Raid, which is up now because Sumail is mega farmed, and they have RP to fall back on. This is very, very scary.
IG Vitality aren't fighting. They're bailing. They'll let the tier 2 tower drop.
That is the play. RTZ, is he going to be able to complete his Solar Crest 25 minutes in? Let's watch it.
It's been a long road getting from there to
Oh,
here.
is he? Oh, wait, did he buy it?
Yeah,
Oh,
he
he-
bought it. It's on the
Okay,
computer.
he just like went to the secret shop, so I wasn't completely sure. Heaven's Halberd.
Yeah.
18-second cooldown.
But don't worry, now that Samael is 6 slotted, he can now start giving over items. And I'm wondering if Keeper of the Light may be his first port of call. And I'm only wondering that because it's going to make his split push even more powerful and the D push of EG even stronger.
What about Rubik, though? If you steal Stampede,
True,
pretty
but
good.
Keeper of the Light,
Yeah, keep
Illuminate in the fight too, your sustain is even better.
What if you get it at nighttime, though? Like, if your first one comes at nighttime?
Yeah, then it's just
Maybe-
EG picking bad times to fight.
No, your first Scepter comes at nighttime. Maybe you
yeah,
give
good
it
point.
to Rubik. Yeah, we'll see.
As he jump forward with the stolen Stampede from EG, all they do is just they control up Paparazzi. He'll time himself a lot of the damage, lets his bugs go, and knows he is dead if he doesn't run a little bit further away. The kicks keep the control going, and they glimmer cape him up back behind the tier 2 tower. Concoction will fly forward, and he still lives on 35 HP. Samael will burn him down with the Radiance. That'll do the work there. Magnus may have died as well, but it's the Storm Spirit on the run with very little mana. He's going to be mana leaked out again, so there's no... Actually, Concoction will do the work, but Denial is first. So Bloodstone will not allow EG to have the scalp.
Now, Sumail is big and bad and can actually do a lot of stuff to BKB heroes. His right click is actually quite strong right now, and he is very, very, very tanky. Especially with that armor talent. Oof. 32 armor. Yeah, 32 armor.
And you start to see the problem, too, with Weaver not being able to move in the fights.
Yeah, he needs Lincolns.
Yep.
He needs Lincolns, I think, just so he can pop his BKB and then run around. But, yeah.
He's still their primary source of damage against the Alchemist.
But it's not good at bursting down this sort of Alchemist, though.
No. He needs more.
He can't burst. They're fighting Universe most of the fights, though, but imagine if Universe doesn't get control in the fight and they get half-decent RP onto IG Vitality. Things could go from bad to worse, unless Centaur has Scepter, but he has skipped the Scepter. Still going to complete the Lotus Orb next.
And that physical damage is actually starting to look better and better for the Storm Spirit. Like, I believe he just got the buff up as well, so... IGV under full smoke. They're coming in... Now, they have an Observer Ward deeper inside the Dire jungle, but all of EG are on top lane. So this is a full wraparound with 5 heroes. Not everyone is there yet. Weaver is just a little bit too far behind. They'll blink over. There isn't the initiation on crit. Everyone just goes for a quick dodge, but Rubik jumps into the rest of IGV who are on the way in. Samael, he couldn't dodge his own stun, so he's taken himself out with his unstable concoction, and now it's just one by one. EG seem to fall. Paparazzi again, another primary focus there of Vartizi, but will it be enough? Dogfight is just TPing out! He's out to safety! The concoction will fly after him. Meanwhile, Zai will die to the Storm Spirit. 3 heroes lost for EG.
They're really good at picking out the supports, though. And again, Universes dies. I think Zakata is playing amazingly well, and the Storm Spirit is constantly able to find him. And without a Shadow Blade, he is just dead meat. And Magnus, he needs to go for a Shadow Blade. I see it next on his quick buy, but they just keep being able to scout him out. I haven't seen an RP cast in a very, very long time. I think this is that last, like one of the first attempts on Paparazzi in the mid lane, but that was like 10 minutes ago, maybe.
Yep.
That's an easy
This is just IG Vitality getting better positioning and better control over the core heroes. They know they need to kill off these fights, and they're going to go again. The long jump forward, the Orchid is up, and Rubik is down.
Was it a ward there? Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Right on top. I was like, what?
Yeah. Deep on the Ancients. Actually, that looks pretty damn fresh as well. That looks very fresh.
It's a little risky placing that ward because sometimes it gets dewarded by the one on the high ground. But it's very good at if you expect the sentry to be placed like closer to the shrine.
So Lotus Orb is up now for the Centaur. The Lincoln Sphere is done for the Storm Spirit. And the next big item that EG were able to get was a medallion on Bloodseeker, on Arteezy.
Support Bloodseeker. It's the thing.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, but you say support Bloodseeker, but the Magna still has less net worth than him. Like, Universe is having a very, very hard time. And you look at his opposite, with this Centaur just running around. Like, the gold per minute is night and day.
It's rough for Magnus this game.
Mm-hmm. At least you have the Alchemist. Hey, Alchemist is sitting around there at 1100
In
in his gold per minute, so that's great.
Ags 1 almost done, just needs 200 gold. I mean, Bloodseeker's not the worst carrier for the Ags this game, just because he is so far behind.
Well, we got the choice now. So who actually got the Aghanim Scepter? Who did he give it to? He just purchased it, so
It's on Keeper.
it's on Keeper of the Light.
Yep.
So they're going to try and survive. This is a nighttime Keeper of the Light, so they don't really have the sustain from the Illuminate. The Lotus Orb actually going to reflect the telekinesis. In July is low, and he just needs some space to let that heart do the work, but he can't get out. He was blocked up by the illusion, but now it's Universe who's in too deep. Gematrusa will be lost. Paparazzi will have to grab that one up, but the Centaur is down Storm. Another quick jump in. Finds the kill over on Crypt, but now he's in too deep. Burns the Aegis, the Immortal.
Oh, wait, he's had 2 Ags. One is on RTZ. That was the second Rupture coming out.
Okay. But this is bailout now for IGV.
Yeah, the 2 Ruptures.
Like, they've taken out 2 heroes, and maybe it'll be actually a 2-for-2 trade-off. Super caught in the trees. So the Crystal Maiden will fall.
So there's a lot more room for Ags. Even Ags Magnus is not that bad this game. Rubik's definitely priority over the Magnus, but it's not trivial for sure on the Magnus. And then I think you give a Moonshard over the Ags on the Magnus, though. Just because the range cleave is not that important, and he only has 2 heroes to empower, really.
The stance is still not a bad thing to have.
Yeah, that's true.
That might be one of the points to go for it. And the rate that Samael is farming, like he's just doing Ags after Ags after Ags now. This is just him. He's now the giver, not the taker. But IGV, I have to understand this. Everyone on EG is getting a little bit more of a buff up now that that Alchemist is just almost fully slotted. Like, he's still got some room to grow himself, but it's not a requirement right now. Like, he can still BT up the second level and still replace potentially one of his items.
Ooh, 12 strength over 90 GPM. I played Mag a few times, post 7.00. Every time I take the strength, I regret it. I'm like, man, 90 GPM would have served me so much better. It's only, what, 10 minutes to buy an Ogre Club, which is 10 strength. So, generally
coming
you make it
over.
up.
The smoke is going to break on IGV. Where's that Horse Stomp? There goes your double RP. Super, I think it's time to let it go, but he can't do it just yet. The positioning's not good enough. The Earth Spirit's lost. The pick up and throw down with the Storm Spirit gone. The damage really isn't there, so it's up to In July to tank it, but he's ruptured up, so he's tanking through the damage. The mana break, actually, mana leak plus combination with the blinding light pushes him back and does a hell of a lot of damage, giving Samael a triple kill on the Alchemist. And straight back to farming and straight back to completing up yet another Aghanim Scepter for EG.
Yeah, Bloodseeker actually did not go any right-click talents. No damage, no attack speed on him, which is quite surprising considering he has the Magnets on his team, but he doesn't actually right-click anyone. He just ruptures, and that's almost all they need to win a team fight, with the blinding light to push him back and the skewer, like Kevin was mentioning earlier during the panel. It's a lot of rupture damage. Not that much they can do, but I'm still surprised there's no blade mail up on the Radiant side, because you're gonna be forced to take damage, and you're standing there anyways and wanting them to attack you. But it's getting rougher and rougher, and Alchemist still no signs of slowing down. Ags complete, giving it to Crit, third bearer of the Ags.
So Rubik is able to get his. Who do we actually look at for the upgrades as well of what he steals? Taking out the Crystal Maiden ulti would be a beautiful thing. If he can steal Time Lapse, that would be probably the greatest ability at the moment.
It's really hard to steal Time Lapse.
Yeah. Like
Stampede's
he would have to be in the position where he Time Lapses back into, and then get him before Shikuchi's able to go off.
I would say that
Horse Stomp, they jump forward, the damage into Samael. Now it's up to IGV to really show they can do any damage against that. But they can't.
And now you can just keep building Force Staffs on EG side too. Synergize with the Rupture, synergize with the Mana Leak, and there's gonna be like you just want to stand still in these fights for IG Vitality. I don't think you can though.
EG was really hoping that Weaver would play more in the tree lines. They put up a Tinker Ward up on the hillside just so they could try and get a bit of a glimpse of what was happening in the trees. Even Storm Spirit could have been jumping into position for that, but doesn't happen. Meanwhile, Centaur gets fatter. Plus 15 strength talent now buffed up, so he's up to 3.6k in the life.
I wonder what he's going to
Whoa,
get.
where are you going, Storm? Right over the top of EG. Doesn't have a lot of mana available. Concoction is brewing. Ends up having to dodge it with his own Manta style, and Storm Spirit TPs back to base safely.
He's lucky it wasn't daytime.
Whew.
Yeah, level 25 talent for Centaur is tough here. I don't think Return's that useful because no one's really right-clicking you, but generally it's viewed as much better than the Huff Stomp duration. So unsure for him. For Weaver too, do you really want the 200 Shukuchi movement speed versus Rupture? I don't know.
Compared to the plus 35 magic resistance, but what's he really resisting at that point?
Radiance, Keeper, Ulti, Shockwave, that's roughly it.
It seems like a toss-up. Like as long as he can avoid getting hit by a Rupture, but that's almost impossible as well.
He has a Lincolns now, so he can't get he can't avoid getting hit by Rupture. I definitely think you take the Shukuchi move speed. It's very rare to see the magic resistance one. What else is there?
It's like IGV's preparing for a bottom lane push. Now they got the creep wave with them, and EG again are not really in an already established position to defend the bottom lane. So they send it in July, just poking it at the base. They realize that no one's here. So that's a tier 3 tower going the way of IGV, and they bail. 4 TPs, in fact 5 TPs came back from EG instantly, but it's not in time to protect the tier 3.
It's shrine time. Storm has a gem, so he can catch out the Magnus. He does have his fresh Shadow Blade. They are going to smoke out. Is there going to be a big RP?
Well, look for the opening. Here comes Samael. They still haven't brought down the Shrine. He actually reflects it with the Lotus Orb. And with the control, Rubik is so damn low. The Orchid, I don't think it's going to be enough to actually pop him yet. Crib will end up surviving through this, but in July with a double Hoof Stomp, catching Arteezy as well as Zai. Zai will be protected by his Ghost Scepter. That's why the Gymnid attack could not connect. But it's in July, looking for his opening. Crit has Ball Lightning. They'll trigger the Dying Shrine. Another quick Hoof Stomp. Another Return Concoction. Even triggers onto Arteezy. So in July is having all the fun. It's 3-on-1 at the moment. Let's make it 4-on-1 just to make it a little bit fairer. Another return double concoction in July. He's done more stuns right now than most of the EG lineup, but he will finally be brought down with no buyback available. Dead for 70 seconds because he was trying to pick up the point booster to get closer to that Aghanim Scepter.
Sakata's just been dying nonstop in these fights too. They just control him very, very easily. There's so many spells to throw against the Lincolns, like Spell Steal on a 2-second cooldown, like Mana Leak Force. They just can break it immediately and then rupture him, and he can't really do that much in the team fights. And also, he's just out of mana. Like Mana Leak is incredibly good. Whoop. They need to keep the Storm Spirit alive. I think the Centaur really needs an Axe.
I got a funny feeling that Alchemist is buying a couple of Moonshards. Just judging by his quick buy.
Might as well.
just a few. Just a few. That's 4 Moonshards to come out for EG.
And he already has one on himself.
Well, we could thank Ice Frog for obviously making Alchemist even more viable with the Moonshard.
Yay!
Because everyone loves an Alchemist. Now that's taking Paparazzi so long to build up. Like, he has to get that Maelstrom like 10, 15 minutes ago. And he's only just finished it.
Yeah, they're actually not like it's very problematic as a core here as on IGV. Do you build more damage because they're not killing the Alchemist? But if you don't build defensive items, you just get ruptured and die. So what do you actually build here? Do you go in between and then you die to rupture and you can't kill Alchemists?
It's either that or you have the survivability on the heroes like the Centaur and then like the escape mechanisms, and then just say, you know what, Storm Spirit, pick the back line off. If we take out the supports, EG shouldn't be able just to force us in. And they're the ones they can kill off. Like, Crit's walking around with almost nothing on him. He's got a plate mail as well. Okay, the casual plate mail with the arcane boots. That's not a lot to survive, especially up against a Storm Spirit when he initiates. And the Keeper of the Light is the Ghost Scepter that protects him. But with Diffuser Blade over on the Weaver, that's not as much of a protection.
He can't get to him, though.
No.
The Weaver has a lot of trouble doing damage in the team fights.
But right now, it just looks like the Weaver's even like finish up the full Mjolnir and then just make it a Disco Centaur.
Yep. Yeah. The Axe is coming so slowly on Centaur. He had his heart, what, like,
Yeah.
15
Oh,
minutes?
that forced off. It pushes him in with the silence. A very quick pickoff at 98 seconds. No buyback on Samael. Super was the one that got the last hit in, but in July is hunting for more.
Was he Blood Rage or something?
He was, he definitely wasn't pushed up with his ultimate. Chemical Rage, it looked like it was down, and now they're going to find an extra one. It's Arteezy burning the Aegis to the Immortal. Support is nearby, but will it be enough? Universe! In for the RP, catching 3, but Paparazzi on the backline, hitting Arteezy. She's giving him the life back again, but he doesn't have the armor, he doesn't have the life, and Super lets it go all over EG's face. That's going to be 3 down. And they'll look to the mid, 1 minute on the sidelines now for the Alchemist.
Thanks for the imagery, Toby.
Got your back,
that
bro.
was great.
And IGV are looking for the tier 3 tower in the mid.
I thought Arteezy was pretty tanky because his build has double evasion with Solar and the Halberd, but he used cheese and just died again immediately afterward, or almost died. And Crit zipped into a hoof stop that just died too. Yeah, I still did not exactly
Whose Force
see.
Staff was it? Because he got pushed in by Force Staff. And now it's a very dead... Oh, is it? No, he lives on 66 HP. Keeper of the Light will survive, but you've lost your bottom ranks. You've got 20 seconds until the Alchemist is up, and that's more than enough time for IGV to claim, or will it be with the Blinding Light? It should be enough to get the second melee.
He bought one too many moon shards, not having buyback. That was... Arteezy doesn't even have a right click, though. I don't even know why he decided to pull a moon shard.
That's a nice steal. But it's still not going to be enough. They stole Stampede. So they're going to trigger the Stampede for EG, run forward. But IGV are on the run as well. Have to take that stun from the Mana Leak. So Dogfight's ruptured up. Wants to keep running. He's taking through a lot, but it won't be enough to survive. And he knows it. He'll tick out to Arteezy. But that's a lot of heavy damage done. And EG are already looking to barrel down the middle. Remember, they do not have the buyback over on Arteezy. It is on cooldown for now, and Samael is still short a little bit of money. But he is an Alchemist.
Okay, let's see. Does he get Blood Rage here? He does not have his ultimates. They do Solar Crest him, and they are much more careful than last time.
Yeah. 2 seconds till Chemical Rage. So Hoof Stomp, a quick pickup. Hoof Stomp will be stolen, and then the jump. The 3-man RP! That's what you want from EG! Look for the cleave, look for the damage. Will it be enough? They have a double kill on Arteezy, but the buybacks can start flooding out now from IG Vitality. They try and stay alive. Storm Spirit forward. Centaur did actually survive to this, and Crit lets it go. It's the stolen Nova. Will it be enough? With the concoction flying forward, it's not enough to bring down the Storm Spirit. Still a heavy amount of buybacks committed by IGV, but EG cannot break the base.
Wow, what a stolen freezing field from Crit. He was channeling it from the low ground, and it destroyed them. So that was 3 buybacks, 1 on the Storm, 1 on the Centaur, 1 on the Crystal Maiden, it looked like. And despite being 2 racks up, IG Vitality are still in a very precarious position where one bad fight could lose in the game. And that was an amazing RP by Universe. Pretty much the only good one I would say that he's had all game, but they were able to kill the Storm Spirit inside, which is the most important thing that happened in that fight.
And this game has been so intense from fight to fight. We haven't even had time to look at some of the replays from the game. That first push into mid with the Force Staff, I'd love to have a look at that one again. Just to see what happened to Samael. And he's now building BKB. So Samael has had enough. He's going to get a BKB on himself. Which means we start the toggle of items.
Yeah, what does he actually swap out for that?
Does he just trigger Manta and then just switch it?
Manta's really good on him. Because the illusions are very hard to kill. They do not have great spread target damage on the Radiant side.
This is too early for Roshan for EG, so instead they're looking for a kill. Roshan's got another 3.5 minutes before he'll be up.
It's a very short respawn, though. It's 20 seconds.
EG aren't finding the opening yet. Weaver is probably the most exposed of them all. And Paparazzi is playing the tree game.
He really wants to farm his buyback. He just needs 100 gold. Should be able to get it. I think Sumail is TPing over to the right side. Can get recalled back if necessary. But they are kind of waiting for the Weaver right now. But decides that he's had enough. We'll bounce.
Oh, we get to have a look at it. So we are going to go back in time. So there's the 4-star forward.
I think he was Blood Raged. It looked like he was Blood Raged that fight. Yeah, that's... whew. That was fast. Like, they don't have that much damage, actually. Like, Weaver's not ridiculously strong right now. And he has a ton of armor, too, on that Alk. But... oh, he went unstable concoction damage on the Alk, too? Wow. With the acid spray armor, it's pretty good, but... it's still unusual to see.
It's kind of odd then when you look about what the Centaur's been doing to him with the reflection from Lotus Orb.
Yeah. I don't think you get the talent, though. Because it's casted as if the person with the Lotus Orb casts it on you.
So you don't get the bonus for it. Okay, fair enough.
I believe so, but I'm not positive.
Well, we saw that with the Aghanim Scepter from Storm Spirit before. Well, Rupture going to be over on the Centaur. Stampede's up, but still a hell of a lot of damage. 100 seconds now without him. No RP committed. It was only just one of the Ruptures that had to be burned. The bottom as well as the mid lane is still pushing in for IG Vitality, so EG will be able to do a hefty amount of damage to the top lane, but then may be forced back to fight. Wait, they got no creep wave.
That's
They're
right
fighting
there.
back to regen. Now the creep wave will arrive. Dogfights caught in the tree lines. They're able to find him. There goes a secondary Rupture out from Arteezy. Quick Yule Scepter, but Dogfights cannot survive through that. So now there's 2 heroes down with no buybacks. IG Vitality don't find the options. A jump in and then a straight jump out with Storm Spirit, just trying to slow things down, but Sumail wants more. Rotating into the middle lane. Looking to chip away at that second lane of Rax if it's possible. All the supports are closely protected by Arteezy as well as Universe, and while that RP is up, Storm does not really go for it. There's your first TP back to base, but you have the recall there from the Keeper of the Light. Zai needs to die to keep EG down a man. And what do you even do here, Super? Sumail breaks free with Amanda style from the Frostbite, so he can't even keep that control. The EG really get Megas. That top range Rex is still up. It looks like Sumail's sending his illusions up to take care of that for the moment. And Paparazzi got no way to get in close. Yep. Lost up Sumail. Beat through the buildings. Again, they are lacking the creep wave, so they're having to fight the backdoor regeneration.
Centaur's finally up.
And Storm Spirit, long jump forward, but it's a TP. It was the jump and TP straight back.
They can still TP to their shrine if they want to with someone else, but I don't know. You just let them get away with 2 free kills and 4 free towers, and now Ruptures, or sorry, 4 free racks. So now that Rupture is back up again, they can just do the same thing. That's really all they used for that fight was just 2 Ruptures. So,
but what were you meant to do once the Centaur goes down like that, and then you also lose your only other controller? Like, you lose both your stunners. Crystal Main's your only other one, which is easily broken free by Amanda style, but without the Centaur, without the Earth Spirit, you cannot control EG.
and if you try to commit too hard, you'll get RP'd.
Yep.
They just need to be able to kill Sumail somehow.
And now it actually gets harder to commit. Like, you get a Scythe of Vice over on a Keeper of the Light. So even if Storm wants to jump in, he kind of needs to have his own, like, BKB up or something to protect
Roshan
himself
is
from Zai.
up, but Radiant's lineup is not very good at killing Roshan. Weaver is way too slow without any minus armor in his build.
It has to be a contest, though, right? Like, as you said, like, IGV, like, the better way is just
so.
contesting Roshan, but then you need to have the vision. The Observer Ward is there, but EG is fairly heavily smoked, and they're looking for the opportunity if they can find it.
One more Rupture on Centaur, game's over, I think.
Mm-hmm. But there's the big ulti upgrade. He has the Aghanim Scepter now over on the Centaur.
He can just Stampede and run away, maybe tank through it.
Possibly. That's what they're hoping for. EG still smoked up. Sumail will break his smoke. Fresh Observer Wards in from EG inside the base, and they're looking to the bottom lane.
They need to get Rupture next to the Shrine, too. If they're next to the Shrine, I think they can fight, too. But not too many opportunities left.
IG Vitality smoked up on Dogfights. as well. Sakataka, so they can jump onto Sumail if they feel the opportunity is right. Chemical Rage is wearing off right now, so they have that small opportunity, but they're going for the backlines. And you can see in July, he wants with the RP from Universe. He'll connect. The damage is still very, very heavy onto Crit, so he has to keep running out this one. Now Sumail looking for the cleave damage, but it's not enough when in July gets the Hoof Stomp, but the Storm Spirit already down. Paparazzi, the primary source of damage. He needs to do the work right now for IGV to repel Evil Geniuses, but will it be enough? Chasing up, looking for the kill on the Connell, can't even find that. Crit still alive. Now the Storm Spirit brought back. He's in the fight. TP'd into the shrine. They came from behind and got Evil Geniuses. They don't get the racks. Universal TP out under the cover of the Fog of War. Buybacks are still available for Evil Geniuses, however, so the damage IGV can probably apply will be minimal.
What are they going to try and do right now, though? They have Roshan is up, but if they push into Alchemist, now Alchemist buys back and gets recalled in, they can easily chase him down, I would say, with a Rupture. So it's probably safer to just do Roche, but still they can fight around Roshan Pit. It's still daytime for another 30 seconds, and pretty long fight coming from them. A quick RP by Universe does score 2, but Sakata immediately buys back and, as you mentioned, comes from behind. Paparazzi kind of left free that entire fight over there.
You can also see at the very start of that fight, the fact that Crit was able to steal the Aghanim's buffed up Stampede gave so much more survivability for EG.
Oh, wow. So they're actually not going to buy back. And that is... that was, I think, the only buyback that they used for that fight. And who else has buyback? I'm seeing a lot of no's. There are 6 no's.
So you got it for 3 of them on IGV. So you got Weaver, Centaur, as well as the Crystal Maiden, and it's only going to be the Alchemist and the Magnus for Evil Geniuses. And you know what IGV want to do? Like, they've got the cheese over on the Centaur. He's insanely difficult to kill. He wants to tank the Rupture of Vartizi because he knows he can repair all of the damage. So there's number 1. They skewer him back. The Lotus Orb try and protect. Man, those pushes, they're just force-stuffing him around. And then Blinding Light, and they kill him off. He triggered the cheese and still dies. Okay.
Oh,
Throw
man.
that idea out the wind. Centaur can't tank Jack.
That was a lot of Force Staffs that destroyed him. That was pretty funny.
You can hear the Lotus Orb just triggering at the same time.
He didn't want to cast Stampede either because Rubik would have stolen it immediately after.
Let's see that again. So you look. So he actually he used that cheese when he first got hit.
Oh, really?
When he first got skilled, the regeneration was almost nothing.
He thought it was his hood, is why. He
He
swapped it with his hood. That happens a lot. Because you're like, oh, you know, especially with like things like bottle was just like muscle memory. You have it in your bottle slot. So I thought he had cheese too, and he was trying to bait it out, but he popped it at the wrong time. A little bit sad for him.
I was wondering where that regeneration was. Okay, cool. Sumail still is dreaming of that BKB of his. I'm assuming everyone has moonshots now on Evil Geniuses.
I see 4. Everyone but Keeper.
Okay.
Rubik has
that
a moon
makes
shard.
sense.
He doesn't even have the damage talent. That's sad. They don't have the Ags on Magnus, which I guess would make the moon shard more value for Rubik. A little bit.
Storm Spirit, jump out. Look at just to chip away at Sumail.
So they still have the Aegis on Sakata. It wasn't actually the biggest blunder that Centaur died right there. He still had buyback just in case they did end up pushing. So, and he did get a lot of damage on that T3. That T3's at like 10% HP left on that top Dire side. So, like, getting Megas is not the most far-fetched thing in the world if it does come to some sort of base shenanigans. But I think EG has the upper edge of that just because of all their mobility.
Can you get away with then Storm Spirit just like solo pushing up that top lane? You just keep it going, and then if EG want to contest you, you just jump in for it.
It's risky because they have the Hex on the Keeper. When you have the Hex on the Keeper, you can easily combo it with like RP or Lift or something like that too. And they have the Lincolns to break it immediately. So
but if you burn that, then you're just able to ball lightning and TP away to safety.
I don't know if you can actually tank through it though. He doesn't look. Lincoln's is not going to be enough.
He's got to use the Aegis for something, and you're pretty certain that EG is not going to give you the opportunity to have a big team fight.
You just got to be careful with that mentality though. Sometimes it's like, oh, I have Aegis, and then you just die twice and you just lose the game.
Maybe this is the other way to do it. Push down the middle lane. You've already got the creep momentum. I suppose you don't really, because you're up against, like, it's supers versus supers. Well, they're smoking in, and they're making their way up to that top. So the ping comes out from the Centaur.
They don't do enough building damage to mega them before EG can respond.
But maybe they can just take the tower anyway, or they find the opening. So a quick observable gets planted down. Crit's closer than anybody else. Samel will run out too, and they instantly jump to the back lines, looking for the opening. With the Wolfstorm control, they want RTZ down, and they've got it as well. The Bloodseeker's gone. No buyback is available. And IG Vitality, they're looking to rip apart the base with Universe to fall. He'll have to buy back. The mid-range Rax is taken. Sakata can jump himself away to safety too.
That was incredible target selection by them too. They knew that Bloodseeker had bought back the last fight that Alchemist didn't, and he's in the grave for a good 1.5 minutes.
And that may just be the window they need.
Yep.
The mid lane is pushing in, so they won't have to worry about that momentum on the top. Actually, maybe they will for the fact the tier 4 towers might start being claimed, but if you can get megas, you won't care. Samel comes in with the concoction, so you can just send that one straight back. He'll dodge it with the Manta style. Dogfire's being controlled up by Crit, but Paparazzi, now he's got those bugs over on Crit. The towers as well as Ike is able to help get rid of that, but they just want megas at this point. They want the unstoppable force and also the opening for the Storm Spirit to jump in through the back lines. It will be enough. Oh no, Crit still survives. The Glimmer Cape gave him a little bit more survivability, but they pick him up, they throw him around. The stun was already there, but the top lane of Rax, it's been taken. The megas are up, and they're losing the Alchemist. The buyback is available, however, so Samel will come back to the Wall of the Living. Meanwhile, the Storm Spirit just playing and holding EG inside the well. Back at home, a little bit of trouble, but not too much, just rather large creeps. But everyone is running away now.
His Aegis ran out as he was fountain diving.
Oh boy.
His Aegis ran out and he doesn't have buyback.
That's very problematic, to say the least, but you are still up against megas. And the bottom lane is heavily pushed in. EG doesn't really have that greatest clearance apart from Samel, who's committing to the bottom lane to push it out.
This is it.
So a 66-second window, but do you go for counters? Like, do you go for counter megas, or do you go for the GG? Because you may not even know. Oh no, he's got buyback. He's got buyback in 6 seconds. So it's just the countdown timer. There isn't an opportunity.
Man, if they actually still had the Aegis on him, though, it'd be so much tougher for them to do this. But
so buyback is now up.
So top shrine is still up. Bottom shrine is down. So
they called him in.
Yep.
So this may be the commitment from EG.
They need a big RP.
You're up against megas. An RP would be a beautiful thing right now. You need to keep that Empower buff up. Samel doesn't actually have it yet. And then Hoofstorm forward, Concoction is brewing. Storm Spirit just picked up a fresh Aghanim Scepter, jumping forward, looking for the pull. He's going to go on one, but Universe, the RP, he committed it up, just holding up the Storm Spirit, but no follow-up damage is there. Arteezy will fall, the Alchemist as well, and that is the game. There is no more fight in Evil Geniuses. IG Vitality will take the series 2-0, just shy of the 1 hour mark. But a terrific display of combinations from both sides.
Alchemist is just not their hero. They can't win against it. They can't win with it. They don't know when to ban it. It's just